What's going on, everyone? We're here down at the Parliament Building, National Aboriginal Day.
Thank you so much for coming out here today. Thank goodness we've got amazing weather and beautiful, respected land. Clean air, clean water, and an amazingly warm sunshine. As well as all of you here today, thank you so much. I just wanted to let you know that in about 10-15 minutes we're going to be starting some dances and all the ceremonies will be taking place as well. So thank you so much for your patience. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you in action shortly. Thank you. That is an acknowledgement to our respected elders and friends that are here today. And we are going to have Elder Josephine Dick from the Ceremonies to do our opening ceremonies. So please, thank you.
Asiam Nastalacha, Asa Cilicia, Cha Essen at La Quangan, Heit Kunstela at the Eitlanuk at La Quaman. I welcome you all to the territory lands of the Lakota people. My borrowed name is Josephine Dick. My Indian name is Cilicia. I welcome you all today to this event, and I thank Scott for calling upon me as an elder from Ceremonies to say the welcoming ceremony. Hi, Chikasiam.
Time to remember and to honor and to celebrate. And what better day to do it than on a beautiful day, sunny day, summer solstice. And yeah, we're about to get underway here. So.
All right, guys, and now we've got the Joe family dance group from the Esquimalt First Nations. Thank you so much. ladies and gentlemen. Somebody? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This is my granddaughter, Laura Jean Thomas. Wave, baby. My co-singer, my daughter, Kimberly Thomas. My son, Shy, but that's my son, Justin. He's shy like that. So we're Joseph singers and dancers. That was our paddle welcome song and dance to welcome you here to the traditional territories of Squam Mountain Songhees Nation. That song was sung by a lot of our ancestors back in the day to let the other reservations know that we're coming in peace where they're not in battle. So a long time ago, if the reservations did not hear that song, they prepared for battle. So each nation had to sing that song to let them know that they're not coming in battle, we're coming in peace. So, can't go that way with it. Go ahead, one more time. She's like Grandpa, she likes the white man talking stick. So, our next song and dance for you ladies and gentlemen is be for everybody today on. It's our brothers and sisters song and dance. My late grandparents came up with it. It's a shaker song, but my grandparents sang it a bit different. So first part you're going to hear is my daughter singing in English, and the second part you'll see me take over singing. So here's our brothers and sisters song and dance. International Aboriginal Day. It's a very unique place that we're all in, this world between two worlds, the European colonial world and the Indigenous world. And I just want to say right off the bat that the reason why we have the afforded luxury of amazingly clean air, fresh water, and the natural resources is because of the Indigenous people and their way of respecting nature and the land. Regardless of where you're from, all nations across the world will benefit from learning from the Indigenous cultures, and so that's why we're here at the Parliament buildings, so that we can share these gifts with the world. And with that, we're very honored to have Chief David Knox come join us and speak. Thank you so much, David. Much appreciated. Thank you.
That's okay, I'll get my thing out.
All right, right on.
Oh, yeah. Sonny, stand with me, my cousin, my goose moo brother. We're gonna all get in there. Wallace Namugwis. I'm one of 4 head chiefs of the Kwakwakiwak from the north end. I gotta talk about the Kosalish, the Nuchonoth, the Kwakwakiwak, 3 nations that house Vancouver Island. We're from time immemorial, through our roots, we're all connected through marriage alliances, through time immemorial. We got evidence, 14,000 years right now. We got 10,000 Fort Rupert, 60 miles up the coast, 14,000 years. That's 700 generations. We're still kicking today. We almost got wiped out. Fort Rupert, we're 10,000 strong in 1850. We got wiped out to 178. We're finally up to 900 now. But right now, I'm talking collectively, gathering Vancouver Island nations through time immemorial, together to speak our voice about our laws. We had laws before the boat people came here. It's so important to talk our laws before this government was ever here. It was British law back in the day. Canada's only 156 years, coming up in a few days. But it's so important to talk about the history, about who we are as people of the land. We're never greedy. Our oldest laws are to share, to care, to help, and to feed, and to provide. Those are our oldest laws. And colonialism is so disrupted our ways. 180 years. Fort Rupert, 1849 was banned in the potlatch. 1851, we got 2 Dudley treaties in Fort Rupert. Then you go to Slainamo a year later. Hudson's Bay went to Nanaimo because they had better coal. But the history, how do we make so wrong to make it right? I had my uncle Stanley Hunt send way to the monumental pole for the residential school kids. You know, there's so much raw history, but how do we make so wrong to make it right? That history. So let's work together to make it right. We're here today, so let's collectively find these objectives to make it right for the future. And what it is, it's for the youth. We're obsolete, we're older, it's about the youth. Our potlatching is about the youth. It was misinterpreted by the boat people. They thought we worship our tonopos, but no. It shows who we are and where we come from as people of the land. So right now, it's so important to collectively gather together, because right now, we got the government, the ministries of forestry, deforesting our territories at a mass rate. We can't even research our old growth faster than they're deforesting. They're taking out thousand-year-old race eaters that are so important who we are as people of the land. No, I'm okay. I'll keep vouching up. And also, I talk about forestry. I gotta bring up DFO, Ministry of
They ran out of red one.
the Oceans. I met Josie Osborne not too long ago. I say, how do we implement stewardship in all levels of DFO? Besides oil growth, we got these factory draggers on our coast for stretching from here all the way up to the Queen Charlottes. They're raping our grounds. They're tackling juvenile fish and they're selling it for pet food. But shame on you, DFO. You wreck the East Coast, you're not wrecking the West Coast. So right now, I'm trying to gather the Coasalish, the Chonos, Kwakwakiwak, stake claim to our island and our ocean to implement stewardship where it's only meant for industrial resource extraction. All those laws are meant for resource extraction. Listen to the people of the land. We got the solutions. Shame on you, government. I could touch even more. I'm going to touch on the residential school kids right now. 1849 was banning the potlatch. 1921 is when they implemented it really heavy to put us in the schools, to take our language, to take our culture, to rip us from who we are of this land. So how do we collectively make this right? Let's make this right all together, and it's for the future. There's so much I also want to talk about. But bottom line is, deforestation of oil growth, we can't be us. Raping our ocean, we can't be us. There's no salmon, no oil growth, what's going to happen? How do we collectively work together to make it right? And thank you. Happy Aboriginal.
Era Kasla, Bola en Kasongis, Esquamo, la Cosicla, Gans Gatla, Cosawina, Quasquanala, Gakin Kadadutla, Kadangigame, Kadandita, Kadanzuila, Glawis, we lions numb like in the wheel all against. They could what gas flowers, they could old growth. He now for lost they can quackwana. He now for lost they can cut him skew. He now for lost they can cut a bark, cut a hela, they can go control, not quite. We would like to some a garden, a wheeler, cutting skin ganadam, if you took some if you got certain miles with them. Kada he quikida, we land cargo ports like Jamasika, we like bands like Vancouver Island. Hats together can click you do this Mamata. I just wanted to thank the Songhees and Esquimalt for allowing us to be here on their land today. And we are here of a purpose to unite everyone, to get all the nations to stand up and take responsibility of the land, the forest, the animals, the sea creatures, everything for future generations. We always think 7 generations ahead, what will they have that we have now? So with the way that everything is going, it's a sad time for future generations that won't be able to build a canoe or build a big house. So we're here to unite with all the nations and stand strong as a Bakum, as a native. And happy Aboriginal Day, and thank you again for everybody coming, and I hope you guys enjoy your day today. I know I will, being amongst all the different nations down here. So thank you again, and Gaelic Asla. Yeah.
Thanks, Cassian.
There's so much I want to say, but like I said, how do we make so wrong to make it right? Let's find those objectives to work together as we, in a global community, the whole Mother Nature of Earth, let's band together to make it right for the future. Industrial greed is at its best because of the government. So how do we implement stewardship in all levels of government? How do we teach industry and ministry on stewardship? There's so many objectives I gotta say, but bottom line, let's work together to make it right for the future. As us as older, we're almost obsolete. It's about the younger generation. Why we praise our youth so much is why we potlatching. We gather, we distribute to all communities. Our totem poles represent who we are, where we come from. It was misinterpreted by the boat people and the church people. They thought we worshipped it, but no, it shows who we are and where we come from. So it's so important for us to talk collectively. How do we make so wrong to make it right? Is to work together. And let's heal our people. Let's heal the land, heal our ocean, heal our air. Then we, the people, will heal together. We got the solutions. Shame on you, government, for not listening to the people of the land. They should have listened to us from the get-go, but they have not. But now we got a voice. Now we want to heal. Let's all heal together. Thank you.
Haichka CM. Thank you, gentlemen, thank you. And very powerful, and we're very grateful for you, Chief David Knox, for being here and sharing what's going on in the northern part of the island with gentlemen, I have you back up here. We're just going to say, David, come back up here. We're just going to give you please, thanks. I'm going to give you your blanket. Thank you. Sunny Wallace. Okay. Sunny Wallace Mudwis. Okay. Special thanks to Sunny Lakuglash and Chief David Knox for being here and sharing your wisdom with us, your presence and your blessings. So please accept these blankets. They'll keep you warm throughout the winter and keep the sun out in the summer. And yeah, thank you, gentlemen. And where I'm from on the East Coast, we say Wallalan. Thank you.
Kayla Kesla.
Haichka
How. Hey. These are some of the ways that I learned of saying Gaelic Kesla along across Canada when we journeyed to Ottawa. I learned quite a few of them. Gaelic Kesla, Haichka, OCM. So, Gaelic Kesla.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Excellent. What a blessing. And our next speaker is Bill Jones. So when you're ready, please come up. Thank you so much. Okay. Good.
Film with it? What's up, dude?
Let's go over this flat ground. And then we're going to get a stand Can you hear me?
How when you take a tree
Good.
away, it really fucks with it.
Oh, dude, fuck the whole ecosystem. It really does. Like,
Okay, thank you.
Because think about all the
Thank you, Chief Knox. Thank you,
everything underneath.
Sunny. And thank you,
They've been taking a whole
Songhees and the Esquimalt Nation for letting us be here. I know you've let that building be here for a long time, and well, it's not exactly a awe-inspiring building to us where we were so sad to see all our old growth forest go and our old fishing. Oh, it's all gone. But we're here, and that's our celebration. There's lots of us who here that I met at Fairy Creek, and I feel that we have a great touching and emotional connection to all these people who came up to Fairy Creek. It was I think a journey of discovery for lots of us, and we actually started to realize something that I think government has long tried to oppress in all people. We rediscovered ourselves and our sensitivity. And my great moment came about the February after we decided in the previous August. And we were up there in the storm, and it was hailing and blowing and snowing and sunning, and in the middle of a storm, and I was sitting by the fire there that the smoke went this way, then that way, and something came upon me. I didn't know what it was, and I heard myself saying, I know what it was. I know what happened. Well, that's why we're here. And I think that is the point, that moment where I actually reached maturity in my life at 82 or whatever it was. And it was a good revealing moment in the fact that it started a long time ago, and I realized it started in European history about the time of Alexandria the Great, and then into the Roman Empire times, and then also the British Empire times, where the imperialism was all for resources to empower the oppressive imperialists. So that's where I feel that we at Fairy Creek learned that we are not just confronting and trying to save our old growth. We were addressing and opposing an imperial, colonial, oppressive economic system that has been fiercely defended for 2,000 or 3,000 years. And I remember going back that first we were called hippies and tree huggers, and then it went back further, and I realized that the government taught people to call people names who were trying to be fair. And that's what we were seeking in Fairy Creek. We didn't know we were seeking that fairness first to ourselves and then to others. So that's why I feel that our struggle is a threat to not only the colonialist government, but the oppressive economic systems of imperialism in this world. That's in its end game. And with the end game, they are suffering now from global warming and, oh boy, now forest fires. And we are now we can say that we are here. We are here to help. We are here to let you know that yes, we can survive. We can reconcile. But first we must face the truth. And the truth is sadly for my people an oppression. And I think that likely at the Industrial Revolution time where industry became the big thing in this world, all people became factory workers, and you became servants to your crown and queen, and you were taught to do that, and you became white people, and we became Indians, and that separation is what government has been systematically keeping in and not letting us realize that indeed we were all one. And
Yeah.
we were up Fairy Creek once, and I can't remember what we were talking about or what I was talking about even, but when I mentioned that, yes, I have now realized that up here with the great forest, I have discovered myself and my sensitivities, and I'm re-indigenizing, and I'm becoming a native again. And then one boy said to me, that's what we're doing here. We are re-indigenizing ourselves. And that's what you are here to discover yourself, discover your true original peoples, where you go back countless generations that led you here. And that is my prayer, that indeed we will all become the free persons that our original Aboriginal forefathers were. And that is what a bad thing and a good thing. And the government condescended to say, okay, we'll have a nice day for natives to get together and celebrate and have Aboriginal Day and have truth and reconciliation. And that is the part that is now comforting to me in knowing that yes, we all are indeed working on truth and reconciliation. And we do that by sitting and being together and doing, especially doing. And that is what our government does not want us to do. I know they proved that very, very effectively when they said we are not allowed to protect our future in the forest. And that is where we are still fighting in court, and they're sidetracking us to this and that, but we have one goal in common in our mind and our hearts. That is to save the old growth. Yes, to save our old growth. Recover our streams and creeks and stop global warming. So that is what we are here for, and that is what we live for. And we will do that in celebration. Tlako, tlako. Tlamatla. And I hope that I can participate in a few other things, but right now I'm going to pass the mic.
We'd love to hear you speak a little bit more if you'd like.
Well, there's something I came across lately, and it was when I was about 12 years old. I was told to sit down in the Somas Hall in Port Alberni, in Alberni actually, at Chishot Reservation, and I was told, and of course I didn't listen, and then I was playing in front of everybody, and then my grandfather Billy Yukon, and Tom Shuish came in. Tom Shuish was wearing the thick mask, and the Grandpa was wearing the three-face mask, and they sang, and Tom Shuish sang about being thick-faced and denying everything, which I didn't know at 8 or 12 years old. And then my grandfather started singing about being two-faced and three-faced, and he's flipping the faces open like that. And then he took it, let it be open, and you could see his face. Then they both took their masks off, and they said, "You have to look at each other with yourself, not with what your thick face is or your three faces." And that is a lesson I have to give to the government right now, is that they cannot be thick-faced or three-faced anymore. And so that is something I think we can actually, our teachers amongst us and our educators can do something about that by reintroducing the thick-face, three-face dance. And it was, I guess, mainly it was to condition children to look and see. And I think I'd like to see that on TV. Tlako, tlako. I think I have run out of gas and run out of blab. Yeah, let's hear it for Bill Jones, guys. Hajka Sian.
Thank you.
My mother's people were Chishat in Alberni, and their name for friend is Chishat. No, excuse me, Chamat. And Chamat means friend. And when we do something together and we be something together, we become Chamat Lay, as we are doing here today. We are indeed Chamat Lay. Tlako, tlako.
Wow. A nice blessing from our brother Eagle. Very nice.
Grandma, if you'd like to sit down here, and I'll get you guys some more chairs as well, okay? Are you sure? Okay. You guys
We'll stand behind her.
Perfect.
And it's rainbow white. Oh yeah. So I'd like to welcome everybody once again. For those of you who don't know me, which is very few in this crowd. I'm Grandma Osa, and I've been walking on this journey with speaking out about, you know, what's happening at Fairy Creek with protecting the old growth, to talking briefly about, you know, the red dress. At Fairy Creek we had over 215 orange ribbons tied around a mountainside, along with the red dresses, and to show the power behind those red dresses, for a long time, all people would stop and just stare at this mountain. And they would look. And they would go into silence, remembering our brothers and our sisters who never made it home, our kids. So there was a lot of good things that happened at Fairy Creek, on top of defending the old growth. And like so many of us, we never did anything on our own. I've had the honor of being up on that mountain for the last maybe 2.5 years, alongside with Rainbow Eyes and Flip Flop, and well over 1,000 people that have come and gone from that mountainside.
No, you take it.
And we've all gone with one heart and one mind, and that was to protect the old growth and to protect our children's future. We've always talked about the next 7 generations, the legacy that we want to leave behind for them. We want them to remember what it's like to walk through the forest. We want them to remember what we did and what we still are doing to this day. So our fight has gone beyond the old growth. It's gone right into the courtroom. And, you know, like last week, I was in court as a witness, testifying about, you know, what it means to be a matriarch, what it means to be a person that has survived the 60s scoop. And what I found myself doing when I was up there in the witness stand was going back to my earlier days of when I had to go to court the first time, when the colonial law was deciding what was best for me. And, you know, going through that trauma, I had the privilege of going through, you know, like with Chief Sonny. Him and I both, you know, first time ever being in the courtroom as witnesses. Rainbow Eyes, who was in there with us, we shared our stories on many different levels, and only to have the court make an alternative decision that they're not going to announce a decision until September now, maybe. But I remember what Chief Sonny said about who governs us, and it was a real profound second for me to hear him say, it is the Indigenous law that supersedes the colonial law. So, to that, I want to say Haichka to Chief Sonny for saying those words. Because those are the words that I choose to follow. The Indigenous law. And so, on those stories, you know, for the last few months, while there's been very few people up there watching what has been going on, Grandma Osa has been going up there every week and giving back to the land. I said it's time for people to come back, make their amends, own up to what we did wrong, and restore what has been taken. And so we've been planting trees, fruits and vegetables. At last count, it was well over 6,000 trees we've brought back to Fairy Creek. And about 100 or more vegetables and fruits. And since we started doing this, the animals have started coming back. We've been visited by the black bears, the cougars, and the wolves. And we're still going to keep doing this. Even though there's gates that forbid us from driving up, we're just walking through with our plants and our waters and everything that we need. And we're walking and saying prayers and letting Mother Earth know that we are there. We're still here, I should say. But we also recognize that there is a large group of people that cannot go to Fairy Creek because of the colonial law.
So often they show up, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But you know what, with Elder Bill, it's always gone great. It's always been full of love, which is the hugest step.
Ability to uphold and honor those treaties. We've heard from speakers today talking about how the marine industry is being depleted, how they're clear cutting the last 1%. Do they not have any shame? How do they get away with this? Why isn't the media reporting it? Why isn't the opposition party challenging them? Why aren't the Indian Act chiefs, and there's 204 of them in British Columbia, why are they not challenging it? Because they're all part of the same process. They're all part of the same process. 30 years to negotiate a new treaty for our people here. 30 years. I don't know how many hundreds of millions of dollars have been spent. I don't know where that money went. I don't know whose pocket it's going into. But they're pushing us for this new treaty. These are termination agreements. They want us to terminate our rights, our title to 99% of our land. This is what is happening today, but it's not being reported. We are in a place as Indigenous peoples where our rights are being violated 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, decade after decade after decade.
By our own people!
They're silent, but we're not. We're not silent. I wanted to tell you folks that this is where my family walked on these territories. The villages all throughout here are shared. There wasn't band councils in 1850. They weren't there. Canada created them. British Columbia said yes. How are we going to work with these Indians? These pagans, and they are called pagans, and savages. They debated it. It's in the official record. And they said, do we work with them as tribal nations? They debated that. Canada in 1876 created its Indian Act, the most archaic Western legislation in the world from its inception in 1876 to 2023. If you don't know about the Indian Act, you have to know it, because you as a Canadian citizen, that's your legislation. That's used against us. And the pain and the suffering and the division of the Indian Act has become normalized by our people. There's not a week that goes by that we don't hear about some type of pain or suffering or early deaths, opiate crisis, housing, homelessness.
child apprehension, child theft. Why did Canada? Why did British Columbia? Why did the Department of Justice? Why did the RCMP all try to cover up the children that were being killed in their residential schools? Cover up, I said. Why? Why?
They're still doing it.
10,000, over 10,000 bodies in only 11 residential schools. There's still over 120 residential sites to check out.
They're still doing it.
Think about that. Canada is supposed to be a beautiful place for everybody. Everybody unless you're Indigenous. Because they want our land. They want our resources. I want to let you know, because it's important that you know this. As a Coast Salish man, as a citizen, as a CM, as a leader, for the past 35 years. We came here 14 months ago. We were welcomed into the territory by the Songhees and the Esquimalt First Nations at Protocol Point. We have done numerous forums here in Victoria to start organizing the voices of Indigenous peoples. We follow and understand and respect protocol. Because the protocol in Coast Salish, unlike the Indian Act, isn't based on a chief and council system. That's Indian Act, that's colonialism. It's based on the families, the elders, in the longhouse. That's where our laws are alive and well. And we have always done that in the work that we do here. I know what's going on internationally, federally, provincially, and civically. That's what I do. That's what I've done for 35 years. Today is a very special day for Canada. Most of you probably don't know it. Canada is releasing their united, they call it UNDA. It's their action plan for the implementation of the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. How many of you knew that they were releasing this? Please put your hand. I got one person, 2 people. 2 people knew that. 3. Today they released it. The United Nations Action Plan for the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. Canada was the second to last nation in the world to adopt UNDRIP. The second to last.
Decided the first time, they said no.
Second to last. Finally they adopted it. You all know who the last was. The biggest colonials, which is the USA. But I want you to know this because people don't know this. And they were asked, the government was asked, who did you consult when you were doing your adopting the UNDRIP? Who did you consult? And the federal government couldn't answer. They upset so many folks, Indigenous organizations, Métis organizations, Inuit organizations, First Nations organizations. They're not consulting us, folks. They're drafting their own documents. They say they want to hear from us. We provided a whole bunch of information with the partnership organizations we do locally, provincially, federally into that action plan. We got 1.5% of our recommendations put into that plan, yet we represent 80% of the people. Why does that matter, you may ask? Why does that matter? 8 years, and I don't believe in any political party. I do not belong to a political party. None. But I have to speak facts. 8 years of the Liberals, the federal Liberals. 8 years now we're walking into. 8 years where the Prime Minister sat up and said, sunny ways. There is no more important relationship than the relationship with Indigenous peoples. That's what he told everyone. What he's been able to do is disregard the 80% of Indigenous peoples living off the reservations. They are trying to silence us. They are trying to put us under the carpet like they've always done. But now they're doing it with a reconciliation lens right now. They are trying to implement treaties based on the very racist and genocidal doctrine of discovery. If you don't go along, if you raise issues, that premier in there will not talk to you. The opposition in there will not talk to you. And I asked the question, well, why is that important? 8 years now. 8 years ago, Trudeau and company came in with something called distinctions-based approach. Can I get people to raise their hands who've heard of distinctions-based approach? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I think she's just waving to somebody. 3 people. 8 years of distinctions-based approach. And what it really means is if you live off reserve, if you're non-status, if you're self-identifying as Métis, we're not going to talk to you. Well, what are the consequences of that type of action? 2002, 33% of the children apprehended by this house, 33% of the children apprehended were Indigenous in 2002. 2023, it's 62%. 62%. How is it possible to commit to reconciliation when the sheer volume of our children are being apprehended? And where are those children coming from? They're coming from places like Victoria, Vancouver, Nanaimo, the cities, Kelowna, Prince George. People that are either forced off the reserves or can't even live on the reserves because of the violence on the reserves. Homeless population. Conservatively estimate that 20% of the people dying of the opiate crisis are Indigenous people. Indigenous people who are living off the reservations. A government, a federal government, a provincial government, and a civic government that are deliberately ignoring those populations and denying the implementation of our rights to self-government in an urban context. They want to keep the status quo. This is what's happening today. Federal government's distinctions-based approach is reconstituted colonialism disguised as reconciliation. That's why homeless is getting worse. That's why opiate deaths are getting worse. That's why more of our men and our women and our boys and our girls are going missing and getting murdered. Nobody's talking about how many of our children are dying today from the government. No one is talking about it at the table to address self-government negotiations with urban Indigenous peoples, not service delivery organizations. I heard your words. You can have your chance later. Yes. So I'm telling you here, I'm not here to defend these governments because the statistics are staggering. It's self-explanatory. We have a long history where the governments are now using the band councils to disregard the mobility rights. And I use that word, mobility rights. My right to be Coast Salish anywhere in Coast Salish territory. My right to be Coast Salish when I'm in Mi'kmaq territory with rights and responsibilities. What they're doing is they're putting our people, they're saying if you live off reserve, you must assimilate into the Canadian fold. That's the game plan. That's what they're doing. It's an industry. They rape the lands, they rape the minerals, they rape the fish, they rape our women, our men, and our nations. Some people may not want to hear that, but we all feel the pain. We all feel that pain. And what our job to do today and over the next little while is to change the narrative. Make these governments accountable. And I'm not just here talking, telling you what the problem is. Anybody can tell you what the problem is. But it's about active, engaging, solution-based challenges to colonialism. Active. We have a court action against Canada at the United Nations Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues. We launched that over a year ago, and we're waiting for the UN to respond. We've done that. So we're not talking about it. We intervened in the Supreme, it's now the Supreme Court of Canada, Bill C-92, child welfare legislation, because the government was using the distinctions-based approach to say, as off-reserve Indigenous peoples, you don't have rights to negotiate. So we intervened on Bill C-92. That court case was heard a couple of months ago. It's been tied to a second Supreme Court of Canada court case called the Gwitchin. That court case is going to be announced in December. And ultimately the question as Indigenous peoples is, does Canada's colonial Charter of Rights and Freedoms apply to us as Indigenous peoples and nations? So we're doing legal challenges there. Canadians enjoy mobility rights. They can go from province to province, and they're still Canadian, and they get access to all the rights and privileges of being a Canadian citizen. But if you're an Indigenous person and you get off that reservation, all of a sudden you're not an Indian anymore. You're not. The government's cutting out the Métis across this country right now. They've got us fighting against each other on a level like you've never seen. It's amazing. I'm watching it with keen interest. We see what they're doing to our brothers and sisters up in Shepuakiknak territory because they're standing up against pipelines, because the government and the corporations never got the endorsement of those people. So it's the people that are fighting. It's the people who are getting beaten up. It's the people who are getting arrested. And now it's the people who are being incarcerated. Those are Indigenous peoples and co-conspirators. We shouldn't use that word allies anymore. We need people to stand side by side with us and get arrested. Fill their courts. The struggle is being felt, and we heard from Chief Knox, the struggle is now going up there where they're clear cutting. They got the permission of the Band Council, but the Band Council didn't ask the people. It's the same thing at Pachidat. It's the same thing with the pipelines. It's the same thing on the method of operandi of getting a Band Council resolution to say you got the permission. You folks may have witnessed this, you should have witnessed this. There's a battle going on between the Band Councils and the Wet'suwet'en tribal leaders, the hereditary chiefs. They said no. You want to build a pipeline, you do it this way. The government said no. They got the support of the Band Councils, so now the tribal hereditary clans are fighting with the Band Councils right now. This is a common pattern of colonialism. It's not a secret. You can see it. So the only thing we can do as peoples, because I don't know who it was, I think it was Chief David Knox. If it wasn't him, it was someone else. We're all going to be dead soon. We're all going to be dead. What are we leaving our children? What are we leaving our grandchildren? I ask you that question. What are we leaving for our children and our grandchildren? Will there be a struggle left for them? Or will the governments get their final solution? That's what I leave you with. We will be doing several more of these events over the next while. We intend to have a massive event here. We won't ask them for permission. They had over 4 bureaucrats trying to bureaucrat us out of here yesterday. They were doing everything they could to say, oh, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got new policies put in place. I got a feeling that we're getting special treatment because we're special. That's why we have that colonial gaze of the police here, over there now. The security guards watching us. This is what they do. They're afraid.
They're the violent ones. Yeah.
They're afraid. Because if we ever unite as people, indigenous peoples, and start working in a serious way with co-conspirators, we can push back on this systems. Life is short. We have to live, we have to learn, we have to love, we have to share, we have to grow. That's what we have to do. We have to be organized. We have to hold these political... We don't need these political parties. That's all part of the process. Why isn't there a Coast Salish political party? Or a Tsimshian political party? Or a Tahltan political party? And take power away from that house. Because they're just destroying the land and the people, the original peoples.
They're afraid.
They are afraid. It's not good, folks. It's not good. And they're not telling you. And the media's not telling you. It's not good. I want to, before I close off here, I want to put my hands up to the cooks that cooked all the salmon, all the bannock. Really spicy chili, too spicy for me. Those ladies worked all day yesterday and they're working all day today and they're going to work all day tonight so that we can feed our people that come to here and share and learn. That's the Coast Salish way. That's protocol.
There you go.
I want to thank these young people behind me. Look at these beautiful young people. These young people are learning the issues. They're engaging where they can, locally, provincially, federally, and internationally to get into the system to expose what they're doing to us. I want to thank my sister from the Laquam and Songhees. She's actually Skaneen and Douglas Treaty. See, for helping us with this day. The elders that spoke, my Uncle Bill Jones, Chief David Knox, I put my hands up, who I just met, and we'll be working together. Sonny, who I just met, we'll be working together. Angel Eyes. Yeah, it's not Angel Eyes. It's a rainbow, but this guy, I think he's in love. I want to thank her and Glenn. There's so many people to thank. And over here, my brother Charles from T-Shot New Channel, who brought all the salmon down. I put my hands up to you, brother. I want to encourage everybody, please, please, please stay informed, stay involved. Find us on Facebook. We are signing up members for the Northwest Indigenous Council. Jessica behind me. If you're not a member of Northwest Indigenous Council, please sign up. We're going to be doing this all over the island, and then we're going to the interior, and then the north. We are going to build up the most powerful Indigenous Peoples Voice organization in the unceded Northwest Coast, which is honoring our tribal nations, not band councils. Honoring our Indigenous citizens, not band members. Honoring rebuilding our nations. Because Canada's doing everything it can to destroy them. But we won't let it happen. Not on my watch. I'm around for a little bit longer. So I'll keep getting in trouble. But I want to remind you, please get some food. Please, there's water, there's soda pop, there's oranges, there's apples. We got the wickedest swag in the, I'm going to say, probably in the whole Indigenous world, in my mind. The youth designed it. They're smart. They're learning. Please make sure you get that. We got some really special swag bags as well. So we want to make sure that we give this all out. This is the Coast Salish way. This is how we share and uphold each other. That's how we do it. So on that note, I want to give a special appreciation to our man, the Wegadesk, Mi'kma'ki. Beautiful character, beautiful man. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't put my hands up to my sister, Osa, who's now a partner in crime. So on that note, I put my hands up to all of you. Aitchka OCM, we are all one.
Don't go anywhere yet. Now, all this talking, and Scott forgot to mention that it's his birthday today. So we're gonna all sing him a nice happy birthday before he goes and sits down. So 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Scotty. Happy birthday to you. Awesome. That is a very awesome birthday party that Scott throws. So thanks, bro. Now, these are all heavy topics, and as everybody goes through, oh please, yes, please, okay, oh let's go, sing it, sing it.
Oh, CMCI Asa, Siam Tanot Lakwangan. I'd just like to sing a song as we're all here to hold each other up, and by standing here still proves something that we're all warriors. So this song that I'm singing, I learned when I used to go to the sweat lodges with our late elders, late Barney George, late Sammy Sam. I was very honored that they held it at the Songhees territory. I don't have a drum and I don't know how to drum because in Coast Salish territory, we don't normally hold a drum, so that's what I have to say about drums. So here's the warrior song. Hey ya ho, hey ya ho, hey, hey ya ho. Hey ya hey, hey ya hey, hey ya hey ya
Go through so much trauma, and these subjects are very heavy. on our hearts. And for my personal experience, I use deep breathing to feel better. And I really find the only thing that prevents me from doing as many deep breaths as I need every day is my ability to remember to do them. So I'm going to say a prayer here to close us off, and I encourage you all to join me in some deep breaths as we prepare to just cleanse our spirit, our soul, and especially our physical body of the heavy weights that we carry into a place like this, so that we can share what's going on and build a better future for everyone that must benefit from it. Thank you, Great Spirit. Thank you, Guardian Angels. Thank you, Prosperity Angels. Thank you to the angels that guide us to our best decisions. Thank you, Great Spirit, for giving us this world that is full of ups and downs. But for this prayer, let us focus on the blessings that you have given us. Thank you, Mother Earth. Thank you, Mother Earth, for this beautiful land. Thank you, Mother Earth, for this land where we have our homes, where we have our lives, where we learn to grow and become better people. Thank you, Mother Earth, for our bodies. Thank you, Mother Earth, for teaching us about being strong and solid. The solidity that you bring to our world, Mother Earth, allows such vast villages. Thank you, Mother Earth. Thank you. Thank you so much for everything that you give us, our homes, for the two-legged, the ones that fly in the sky, that walk on many legs. Thank you, Mother Earth, for everything that you give us. Thank you. We love you very much. Thank you to the water. Thank you to the water for washing us clean every day. Thank you to the water for blessing us with movement. Thank you, water, for being in abundance within our body, that we can flow through this world like the beautiful, fresh flowing water that quenches our thirst. Thank you, water, for everything that you do, for bringing us our relief, quenching our thirst, and again, thank you for allowing us to move, water. Thank you so much. We love you. Thank you, Father Sky. Thank you, Father Sky, for providing us this space to move and grow. Thank you, Father Sky, for this protection around Mother Earth, where we can experience a heaven on earth. This nutrients that's in the air that comes to us so easily with just an easy breath. That is so special. I hope everybody here feels how important that air is for us and how easily it comes to us. Thank you, Father Sky, for our protection around the earth, for our breaths that cleanse our emotions and bring our bodies so much nutrients. Thank you, Father Sky. We love you so much. And what comes through the Father Sky is the sun. Thank you, sun. Thank you for bringing light and vision to our world. Thank you for giving us this light, because it allows us to compute massive calculations. Imagine us all being in the dark here, tripping over each other, but the sun is here. Thank you, sun. Thank you. Thank you for everything that you bring to us. Our light, our power, the guidance. Thank you, sun. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We love you so much. And ether, the fifth element, which all the other elements are before they become their element. Before they are earth, they're ether. Before they're water, they're ether. And ether has taught me about transforming. Imagine being an ether molecule, and God says, you got to become fire now. You got to give up being ether and transform into something entirely new. And I encourage everybody here to look forward to your transformation process with excitement, with anticipation, with blessings, because one of the most important elements of natural law is your own authority in your own life. And I encourage you to authorize yourself to receive the blessings that are coming to us from the future. We can access more and more of these blessings that are coming to us from the future with our emotions and acknowledging them. So thank you so much for all of us for being here. Thank you to the elements for facilitating our growth, our journey, and the lessons that we are obviously here to learn. So, Haichka Siem to everybody that's here witnessing this event, being a part of it. Welalan is how we say it on the East Coast. And again, I put my hands up to each and every one of you who are here, and our ancestors that are here as well. They're always with us. So thank you so much, and I encourage you all to keep the deep breaths going. Thank you. Haichka Siem Welalan.
Yeah.
Blessings to everybody. Thank you. All right. And please, don't forget to sign up here with NWIC, Northwest Indigenous Council. We also have a lot of swag to give away. Hoodies, salmon, electronics. Please come grab your stuff before you leave. And text your friends to come down too before it's all gone. Please and thank you.
I'd just like to thank everybody that came here today to be with the Northwest Indigenous Council, you know, to share and educate each other on such high demands of our lands, the sacred lands of our people, the sacred waters that we have. We have to remember, we're not only thinking of ourselves, we're thinking of our future. The next generation, the little girl that's standing in front of me, these are the ones that we are trying to look after. It's not about us anymore, it's about the future, the next generation. My grandniece and my grandnephew, their future is so important to us, to look after these lands, the waters, everything, Mother Earth. You know, we have to walk lightly nowadays, because there's so much harm out there. And love each other. We have to love each other, and, you know, show that love to our younger generation, because they escape us and come into town, and then they get lost. They lose their way. That's why I say that we have to show that love to them so that they don't leave us. There's just too much damage out there nowadays with the missing and murdered Indigenous women and children and men. You know, I feel that every time I see something that's on Facebook of somebody missing, and hoping that they find them and bring them back home to their family. And if the children go astray from their family, reach out to somebody and let them know. Let them know that you're okay, because you have a whole family and a whole community that's worried about you. It's not just us worrying about you, it's the whole community. I just reach that message out to our younger generation, because we really do love you and we want you guys to come back home and be with family. I just really want to lift my hands up to the cooks, the organizers, you know, for being here, our first aid people that were here. All of our younger generation are sitting back here. You know, they reached out to Scott, that's why they're with him. They were all in Vancouver and they needed somebody. Scott, they reached out to Scott and he helped them, put them on a path of education, knowledge, And they're here today because they want to be, not because they were asked to be. They want to be, because Scott has such good words and educates people on the truths of the law, what they're hiding and what they can't tell us. You know, we want to be educated on all of the issues that is held in this house behind us. We want to know these truths because it doesn't come back to our nations in full force of what they're saying back there. So I just really want to lift my hands up and say thank you for listening to me.
Elizabeth May, who came to the event today. And I've just been blown away by her heart and kindness and honesty. And she's a true matriarch. You know, and that's what we go by. That's our culture. We follow the love. We follow the web. And Elizabeth's got it in spades. It's just the natural way that she runs. So I just wanted to introduce her. Gayla Tessa Elizabeth.
Where I raise my hand for a minute.
Yes, I can raise my hand to everyone here. Taishka stands.
As a tradition, as we know, in the honor of being the Member of Parliament for Saanich Gulf Islands, is that my name in Parliament, I mean, it would be better if it was pronounced properly, or Saanich, but it's Saanich Peninsula is the name of the territories of the nation whose territory we're on, the Saanich Nation, and the fact that so many settler culture people in the territory know to raise their hands to each other as a sign of great honor, respect, and gratitude. And one of the chiefs on the area told me that her grandfather told her that raising your hands like this was to stand like a tree. And that's the gratitude, and that's the groundedness, and it ties together with what dear Rimrod was just saying about finding a different family in the Green Party, but finding us through the old growth fights at Barricade. And I want to just pay tribute to Rainbow Eyes for being multiply arrested for her principles. I stand before you as someone who's, I've only been arrested once. I'm the only member of Parliament who's currently serving who's been arrested at all. And I feel the need to be arrested more often because citizen mobilization, nonviolent civil disobedience is a critical action right now.